Johnny Bench is tying it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep.
In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Bolster. The Reds win the pennant.
Larkins won the game.
That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none.
Welcome Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again.
Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive. Left center field. Racing back to the line. Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did. He did. Reds win. Win. Line to the right field. Genius, the first Red ever. With 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Doesn't have a chance. The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Holy moly, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win it. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
Well, hey, what's going on? Welcome into a special edition of Chatterbox Reds. Pleased to be joined by Mike Hart as we watch the next 1 hour and 55 minutes countdown on a clock leading up to the trade deadline. Mike, it seems like the Reds are probably done, barring some last-minute deal that falls in their lap. But do you feel any different than that?
I don't know, man. I hope not. It feels like that's like the one thing that you would not want them to do, right? Either go out and be a little bit more aggressive, or even, see what the Padres did and get rid of some of these expirings. I don't know. It's just like sitting on your hands. Just feels like the thing that you can't do. But, at least from our experience the past couple of years, maybe we get lucky, but I think you're probably right. We're just going to be sitting here talking about other people's deals.
Well, literally as we go live, I guess Carlos Correa is back to the Astros. So
really,
whether there's news or not for the Reds, I mean, we're not going to spend a ton of time dissecting Carlos Correa going back to the Astros, but we'll give our, honest reaction to some of these 11th hour moves is as they're made across baseball. Who did the Padres sell? I've been trying to keep up as best that I can. Who did they actually sell off their roster?
Yeah. So off of the things that they've given away in the Mason Miller, JP Sears trade, they gave away their number 1, number 5, number 9, and number 17 prospect in that trade. And the number 1 guy, Leo DeVries, was the number 3 overall prospect in all of baseball, according to MLB Pipeline. So obviously you're getting one of the better closers in the league with multiple years of control, plus somebody that you can add to your rotation that I believe also has some control. And they traded away a whole bunch of basically every good prospect they have besides Ethan Salas, that like 18-year-old catcher. So
the one that's struggling the most that I think most people
the
kind
one that had a bunch of hype and now is struggled.
So they did not sell low on their top prospect.
No. But they also made another deal. I'm trying to find it quickly. But they made a deal for a catcher, Freddie Fermin. So they traded the Royals. Yeah. But then they sent, let's see, Ryan Burgett, who I don't recognize. He may be a low-level prospect, but a low-level prospect for the Padres. It's like somebody's got to be on their top 30 list. You know, every year it seems like they completely deplete their farm system. But they traded Stephen Kolek, who we saw in when we played against him, who was somebody that had taken starts in their starting lineup. So they must seem okay with the fact that Sears is probably going to slot into the rotation. Yu Darvish, who has struggled, actually pitched pretty well yesterday against the Mets. Michael King, who is expiring, should be coming back soon. But there have been a lot of reports too that they are still looking to add, and Dylan Cease and Robert Suarez being their all-star closer would be they're radical prospects basically. And they're like, well, we'll sell off redundant pieces instead. So, and then you see, I think there was a Padres leaning towards holding Suarez. They prefer to have 3 closers on their team. And I mean, sure, I guess, after you spend that much, because Jason Adams still on their team, and I believe they went out and traded prospects for him last year. So I don't know. We'll see. It's very clear that what's their GM's name?
AJ Preller.
AJ Preller is extremely aggressive and very willing to literally trade away anything, which Reds fans may be looking at and be like, hey, what the heck? Why can't we get some of that? Right. But, it is unfortunate. Like from a completely third party objective point of view, it seems like that doesn't sound like the greatest idea for the future. Obviously it helps when you have Tatis, Machado, and Bogarts locked up for a long, long time. So they're not going anywhere. That will probably have negative implications on the back end of those contracts. But, he can be like, these guys were at best going to be filling in, at worst are completely blocked. So might as well get value in some of these other positions, I think is where they stand. But, it hurts when we're the team chasing them. But objectively, you look at it as like, the people that they've given up over the years the list is starting to grow very, very long with players that are turning out to be pretty, pretty good. Now, I mean, a lot of them in just that Juan Soto trade, right? 3 all-stars, Mackenzie Gord, CJ Abrams, and James Wood. So, we'll see. We'll see where that ends up, but it doesn't. I don't think me telling you that the Padres are worse off in 2 years is going to soften the blow. That it feels like the Padres are better right now than they were last night, which sucks.
Yeah, it does feel at some point it is going to catch up with the Padres, and maybe they're just aware of that. And I mean, you have so many big contracts that they're going to get to a point where they have a couple years where it's going to be very difficult to win at the end of like Bogarts and Machado, and maybe even it's probably still more like in the middle of Tatis's contract. I saw a tweet earlier. It was a very funny tweet. It was actually retweeted by Eno Saris, which gave it some credibility. I don't know. Sorry, Eno, if you were just retweeting something random, but it was like a guy that calculated every single one of AJ Preller's trades, and like the trade per WAR was like almost identical for the players he sent out versus going out, which I was like, wow, that's crazy that he's made that many trades and it's been that. Now, having said that, you probably cost a lot more salary, so I don't necessarily think it's been exactly a long-term win, but it is certainly got to be a lot of fun at the trade deadline and stuff like that for fans.
I saw shirts that they were selling that said, what was it? It was just, we love the, I shouldn't have brought it up if I didn't know right off the top of my head, but it was basically like, we don't need prospects. We love it said the Padres are cool, prospects are not, or something like that, as like a Padres branded shirt. I was like, well, that definitely,
they seem to like that Tatis guy they got for James Shields.
Yeah, I know, right?
They seem to like that Jackson Merrill guy that they decided to keep that was a prospect.
Probably like just luck, like out of luck, didn't trade him. Like he was surely in trades that didn't go through. Like the way that this dude operates, he was surely like, 5 minutes away from being traded to someone, and then it just like didn't, because of a medical or something like that. And they're like, all right, we'll keep him. It's like, superstar. Look at what we found here. Who knew?
So, yeah, I mean, obviously, like, it's an uphill battle against the Padres, but it's important to note it's going to be an uphill battle whether the Reds went all in today and traded 5 top 10 prospects and acquired every single piece that you wanted. It still would have been an uphill battle in the second half, being 3 games back, being behind a team that is pretty good, that was going to add pieces today. So, again, I mean, the Reds have a chance here. We'll see. The thing that is just going to be, I guess, interesting is in 5 years, what do we look back on this deadline as? And I got to be honest, Mike, I don't know what the answer will be. I really don't. I don't know if we'll look back in 5 years at this deadline and we'll be, man, they should have bought because someone absolutely collapsed in the second half. Maybe it might not be the Padres. It could be the Phillies. It could be the Mets. It could be any of those teams. You never know. I think we could look back in 5 years and be like, wow, they missed a massive opportunity to sell because that team never had any chance. And it's funny. A lot of it will be based on what happens over 2 months. That's very unpredictable. But it's an interesting point in time for this franchise. I guess that it feels like they're just, well, we're going to give this team a chance. We're going to they're trying to hedge here. I don't love it, to be honest. I don't love the idea of hedging, but they're in such a weird spot. Like, I don't think it would be reasonable to go crazy at this deadline. And also, if ownership is not giving you any extra money, that makes it so difficult to try to do anything without completely screwing your future.
Yeah. That is an underrated thing that unfortunately Reds fans are burdened with, that Padres fans, Mets fans, Phillies fans, Yankees fans aren't. It's just like, they've clearly, ownership has put some cap on how much they're willing to spend this year. And so, you see people like Rodgers being included in that deal. The more and more that comes out, it seems like it was to kind of even out the salary that was coming back, which, I mean, obviously, I don't think anybody here was too broken up about Taylor Rodgers leaving, but when you make moves like that, it makes it pretty hard for you to feel like you could bring someone, even like a Luis Robert, right? It's just like I don't remember how much he's owed specifically this year, but like if that's the case, they would need to either get the White Sox to pay money to have him play for us, or trade people that could, like a Nick Martinez, to get 20 million off the book, or however many, I think 21 million or whatever the prorated version of that, so that they can hit under this ownership level that they've been said, yes, you can't go past, which is, does hamper us. And it's unfortunate. I guess when you talk about how we're going to judge this deadline, I think it may not come out for the next year and a half. I think like if what's his name, Keith Ryan Hayes turns things around and becomes a pivotal part of the next couple Reds teams, I think we're going to look back on this as like, man, I'm glad they made something, like maybe even the Sam Moll trade, right? It was just like, we got somebody who helped us and has been pretty productive for the Reds. Maybe it's not the greatest comp of a trade, but we may in the future look back better on this if we can get some better contribution from him. But when it comes to now and this Reds team, it's hard to look at putting him in the lineup and seeing that you got maybe even stood pat offensively with what his current numbers are. That's why it feels like you need to get some sort of bat here because yes, Ke'Bryan Hayes, huge upgrade defensively. However, not hitting as well as Santiago Espinal. So yes, he upgrades. He does add something to the team. And yes, run prevention is important, but the offense feels like it's worse. I mean, the fact that we can't bring anyone in to replace Connor Joe is baffling, I guess. So that's why it's, it feels like there needs to be at least one more addition. And even if it's just a right-handed platoon bat, there needs to be something in there so that, and maybe it includes swapping out Fraley or Benson for somebody, or maybe it includes Lux even, or something like that. But there's just got to be something that actively, we saw in the game that we went to, we saw some high leverage at bats go to right-handed batters that we felt we had zero confidence in. And if it would just like the step up over that doesn't seem very hard to clear. Like, can't we do something there to at least make it so that we can feel a lot better about, or not a lot better, but just better about our offense coming into this. So that's the frustration I think I feel is just like if this is all we do, I think it feels like we made our offense worse, which is like not where I would have landed us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard. It'll be interesting what Hayes does. I'm fascinated to see. I want to talk more about Ke'Bryan Hayes as the show kind of goes on. I also want to kind of talk about the thing that has me the most confused is that the Reds, if they in fact don't move any of these players off their big league outfield, basically, that's surprising to me. I was kind of earlier today trying to put everyone in a lineup and a bench, and I was even like trying to divvy up like a rotation of time, and it's confusing. I'll tease that maybe there's some injury stuff that we don't know about certain players on the big league roster, that maybe that's why they feel like they need to keep all of these pieces. And it wasn't, maybe they didn't feel it was worth swapping, but we had like 3 super chats already. I mean, there was like 300 people watching when we went live. I mean, for a middle of the afternoon show, there's 713 people watching.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you for watching a couple knuckleheads just talking Reds baseball. Do appreciate you. It does mean a lot to us, and it allows me not to be at work and doing this. So keep watching, keep liking, keep supporting us. I appreciate it a lot. Putrid Talent has 2. We'll be watching. Good work. Appreciate you as always. And then this is an interesting one. I kind of disagree here, Putrid Talent. So no bullpen help, poor Barlow and Santion. So the offense, I really would love for them to go get a bat. I understand that. I would love for them to get multiple pieces as well for relievers. I love to get the multiple relievers. But if I had to choose Zach Littell or Jake Bird, a guy you like, I'll take Jake Bird. I'll take Littell because he's a starter. And I think Nick Martinez is probably better than Jake Bird. So Nick Martinez is now a reliever. That's the way I think you have to think of this move, is basically you are adding Nick Martinez to this bullpen and you're not really subtracting. You might be Littell, Martinez, flip a coin who's better, the starters. So you're not really losing anything in your starting rotation. And you added Nick Martinez as a reliever. Let's not forget, Nick Martinez as a reliever last year was great. I mean, he was significantly better as a reliever, and he can do multiple innings where anyone you get at the trade deadline is not. Now, I would have loved for them to get a lefty.
Well, just across the line, Jeff Passan saying the Rangers are acquiring left-handed reliever Danny Coulombe from the Twins.
Well, that was like the last one that we kind of wanted, right?
Yeah, that felt like somebody that was in our price range, unfortunately. The Yankees take Jake Bird and David Bednar, and now the Rangers take Danny Coulombe, and the Angels took 2 relievers as well. The American League race is so crazy. So many people stacked up there. But yeah, so he's somebody that I felt like we could be able to add, especially with the shipping out of Rogers. But
let me ask you this. Would you have rather had Littell or him? You can only get one. Like, let's say that was like you could only do one.
Oh man. I feel like there is a huge need for people that are lefty specialists in our bullpen. And I think that while everything you laid out about Littell and Martinez, I completely agree with. And unfortunately, is probably why they're going to be done all bullpen wise, because, this type of thing. But I do think adding a left hand, like Freddie Freeman absolutely demolished us this year. And I know he hits pretty well against left-handed pitching just in general, but just like we are going to come up against these teams that are left-hand dominant, and not having someone that we trust to go out and get left-handed people out with just Mole and Suter in the back end of our bullpen is, it's not, I don't love that. And so I think I probably would rather have had Danny Coulombe.
Okay.
Personally, it also depends on what they give up, right? We don't know what it's just saying that he did. We always talk about trades and all about and what you're getting, and very conveniently we'll leave out what it costs to do that. So I'm not sure if price wise we could talk about Sermanowski. It wasn't something that was completely without pain leaving, but like a Brian Van Bell, I'm sorry that that one didn't hurt.
You got
anyway.
A better version of Brian Van Bell.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally what
exactly. Yeah. But yeah, Sermanowski hurt a little bit, but
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe this is me, but I'm fine giving away a ball relievers. And I know that you follow it a lot closer than I do. And
he was a starter. He was a starter.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just A ball players in general.
Yeah.
Like Stafura and Sermanowski might turn out to be big leaguers that we traded away, but and this isn't necessarily logical, but feels better because it's just like that's not going to happen for another 3 years. Like I will have forgotten that Sermanowski was a big Reds prospect by the time he makes his debut, probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's maybe not the right way to handle who we should trade away or not. Tyson Lewis would hurt, and he probably doesn't make his debut for a long, long time as well. But that's kind of how I felt about Sermanowski, even though he is, somebody with all kinds of upside and probably will realize it. Well, I guess now with the Dodgers, right? Didn't he got flipped to the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that aspect of it. That's kind of how I feel about the people that the prospects that have left so far.
Yeah, I wouldn't really have. I don't know if I have an issue with it. I wish if you were trading a guy like Sermanowski, it was when you're like have a better shot of actually making the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like that's where it's kind of hard. But again, it was only one for both of those trades. It wasn't 3 guys that you're giving up. So that's kind of a piece of it. It'll be interesting to see how the starting pitching stays health wise as well. And that I think is a big piece of this, because Nick Martinez can go to the bullpen and then come back as a starter. You go and acquire a reliever. That's it. And then you're calling up Brian Van Bell to start games. And you rather have, I guess, a better starter. So I don't know. See, Sam Mole has pitched pretty well of late. Since he's come back 6 2/3 innings, he's only
also
allowed
some bad luck. I feel
he's only allowed 1 earned run, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. Hasn't allowed a home
some
run.
Bad defense behind him has led to some of his getting people on base. I can't remember the game, but there was one where he made a great pitch, and then there was just a bad defensive play, and then he ended up facing 3 more batters and having to get pulled when he had 3 outs. It might have been a bad throw by Marte or something like that. I don't remember what it was. I just feel like he's been in the small sample size, been kind of gotten some bad luck in there as well.
He's a guy that is just like, when he's good, you're like, how does he do it? So
yeah,
it's hard to really like have a lot of faith in him, but
sure.
I mean, that guy was incredible for a long stretch for this
Didn't
team.
Didn't he like not give up an earned run for like the first?
Yeah, and then he gave up like that 3-run home run to Josh Bell, and like that game that actually ended up
ended
literally
the
being
season,
the difference and being in the last game or not. So Moles pitched well. I don't consider Suter a lefty. I've always said that. Like, he's not a left-handed pitcher. Like, I know he throws left-handed, but he's not a left-handed pitcher. Like, you don't use him in that sense. Joe LaSource's pitched really well at AAA. He has like a 0.59 ERA over his last like 19 games or something down there. So he's pitched very well. I know that the Stuff Plus numbers don't really love him, but he has pitched really well for a long stretch down there. So he's another option, and he's on the 40-man roster. So
yeah, he's already been up once, right?
Yeah, he got caught up with, but they didn't use him really,
and then got smoked.
They used him in like a multi-inning outing, and he had a bad outing, but the Reds were up a bunch of runs, so they didn't really give him like a chance to like kind of come in and maybe face a couple strategic batters here and there, which is what I would assume would be kind of the best role for him. They just kind of brought him up because they were just in desperate need of pitchers. So that'll be interesting. All right, we got another super chat we'll get to. Actually, we had 2 more come in, so we'll get to those. The Steeler 4190. Seriously though, could Krall ask for a better day in regards to landing Lou Bob? Competing teams for him going elsewhere, shaping out perfectly for him. I don't know what the hell the White Sox are doing. I saw a report they're probably keeping him. That's insanity to me.
To me, that's all talk. That's all negotiation. Mets have moved on. They went and got Cedric Mullins. The Astros just went and got Jesus Sanchez, is listed as their person moving on from Luis Robert. So no. I have not ruled out Luis Robert.
Oh no. The Padres just got to hurt.
Oh no. They're gonna pull in Stephen Kwan and Luis Robert too, and just absolutely crush our dreams.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
It's time to start looking at the Phillies and Mets schedules.
Who did they have to give up? Like who
I don't know, man. Jeez. All right, let's get back to the super chat. Sorry to derail that super chat. Yeah, I guess we'll see if he's traded. I mean, they didn't trade him all winter when it kind of felt like obviously they should trade him. They haven't traded him this year. I mean, I guess that team's been incredibly cheap. So are they really going to pick up a $20 million option and try to dangle him, try to get his value back up? But at some point, like, you just run out of runway for a guy like him. So, yeah, again, I'm all about that kind of move. But the White Sox are also just a absolutely insane organization that doesn't really have a whole lot of logic. So, until I see like the Reds offered this and the White Sox offered a deal to the Reds and the Reds turned it down, I'm not really going to be critical of them not getting him or not, because no one else in baseball has really come close to getting him from what I've heard.
Yeah. It seems like Ramon Laureano is in that deal too.
No way.
Yeah.
And the O'Hearn deal?
And the O'Hearn deal. O'Hearn and Laureano from the Orioles. They basically read, all the things that are written about who the Reds are targeting and are deciding, actually, we're going to go get him. Oh.
Wow. Well, it would really suck for the Padres if they just played like crap for 2 months for no reason.
This makes me more angry at the Mets. I feel like if
the Mets
would have won one of those games at least, or not let them win 5 in a row, then they're not going this crazy. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm wrong here, but
not to get sidetracked here, but I wonder if the Reds front office had any idea that the Padres were going to go this crazy. Because again, we did not know this a couple days ago.
No.
I mean, they played their hand very well. So credit to the Padres for that. Because we were hearing they might trade Dylan Cease. They may not even be really going for it all up until a couple days ago. And in fairness, they did win 5 in a row, so that probably changed a little bit of their trajectory. Shout out to the New York Mets. But I wonder, like, if the Reds knew the Padres were going to go this crazy, would the Reds have tried to sell more?
Are they on the phone right now?
Yeah.
Hey, do you want Austin Hayes too? Hey, Nick
You know what?
Martinez. He used to pitch for the Padres. You want that?
We were going to see this out, but man, we're watching MLB Network right now, and we're like, yeah, you know what? This might not be the time.
Do you know who else I would imagine is just losing their mind right now is Cubs fans? Like, what have the Cubs been doing? And
the Brewers have got a backup catcher. They're in first place right now.
Yeah, the Brewers have straight up passed them, and they have done more deals than the Cubs, who've just I think they got
Soroka and they
Andrew
got
Kittredge.
Yep.
Is that a backup catcher?
No, reliever from the Orioles.
Oh, reliever?
Solid reliever.
And this is something I wanted to bring up. It seems like in all this craziness going on that the prices for some of these things are just going way through the roof. Would it have been better for the Reds to try to make some of these trades earlier on? So I know we were waiting to see whether or not we do it, but say could we have gotten a better price than what we would? So I guess what I'm trying to say is that the Padres gave up.
Josh Naylor's the one to me that I go.
Yeah.
That might have been one you try to jump on early.
Well, for whatever they gave up for Ramon Laureano, if the Reds were truly in, they probably had their proposal as well. And they took the Padres one. If the Reds offer a little bit more and say, hey, we're going to put a premium on getting these guys earlier in there so the price doesn't get driven up, would they? Do you think they'd be able to land more if they were a little bit more aggressive, a little bit earlier on in the process, and ultimately they would have had to give up less? Does that make sense? What do you think about that? Do you think that leads into it?
In theory, in theory, it makes it seem like the earlier you try to get the deal, the steeper price you would have to pay, because you are basically making an offer to a team so they don't ride him out to the deadline. And that team's like, well, if we hold on to him longer, there might be more teams bidding, all that kind of stuff. In theory, yes, but I do think there are opportunities. Like, I kind of look back at that Josh Naylor deal and go, that might have been one the Reds could have actually gone. Now, he has a big salary too, so if ownership's not going to pay any of the salary, it makes it hard, and you almost would have probably had to trade Nick Martinez. And again, that's where you kind of get into is this merry-go-round really actually going to help you in the long run? You're trading prospects, you're trading a player in Nick Martinez that is actually a good player that helps you win in whatever role you use him in. I think the best players that might early would be guys that are probably more injury risk. Like, that's probably where you could find the most value, where it's a team like, I'm getting rid of this player because I don't want to ride him out all the way to the deadline.
Yeah,
I don't
he might get hurt in between, and so
but you're taking on more risk in that regard as well. So
and the deal I'm thinking about is Randall Grichuk, right?
That's a good.
When it happened, I remember I was talking with Corey about this, and I was like, I looked at the price. I think it was 2 not even ranked prospects for that got the job done to the Royals, who have a 1% chance to, I don't know, something where it was like, oh, the Reds could have done better than that. But I, at the time, was like, I'm okay with this because it feels like they're set their sights way higher on it. However, if they don't do anything here, he feels like somebody that fits in that would have been very cheap, that we would have been able to go get, and could have even been helping us in the Dodgers series.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's where I understand. I think as we get closer and closer to the deadline, there may be some of this, as trades happen, there may be, as prices are going up, a sharp decline for some of these players that are like, oh, we got to trade him. Here's our price. Oh crap. All of our buyers are just going elsewhere. All right. The price is lower. We have to sell. Like maybe that happens with, Luis Robert or Ozuna or something like that, where it's like, hey, turns out no one likes our price, so we're going to fire sale us or, bring it down. So there may be some value waiting to the very, very end, but maybe that's me just being, having wishful thinking, because it's sad to see. Oh man, it just hurts to see the people you're chasing taking on the people that you're wanting to get like that. It just, it hurts. There's a couple more super chats. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, well, we got them couple. I guess we got to stay on this because
I know
the people, you guys are incredible. We appreciate you. Atomic Reaper. Do you think either Benson or Fraley will get traded because they're both in the lineup today? Also, it was cool seeing both you and Trace at the game. I was thinking back. I feel like the Reds in past years, and I could be wrong on this, I feel like they usually waited to release the deadline until like they had their decision made. So when I saw that lineup, I thought that meant, yep, they're done. That was what I thought. So I think they are. I mean, I guess it's not. You do see, teams. Oh, this guy scratched because he got traded. Like it's not the end of the world to make a change. I'm surprised. I'm surprised they did not move one of them. That is surprising. Now, let's talk. You know what? Let's go ahead and talk through that piece of it right now. Why did the Reds not trade one of their 6 left-handed bats that can't all get in the lineup on the same day? You start with Jake Fraley because he's clearly the most expendable of that group for your organization, because he's next year is his last year of team control, and he's going to make, I think, almost $5 million is probably his arbitration estimate. And there's just no way like the Reds can pay $5 million for Jake Fraley next year, more or less than anything, just because he hasn't been able to stay healthy. He hasn't proven that he can stay healthy. So it would make sense to move him. Now, he's playing right now with apparently what is it? A
partially torn labrum, right?
That he has to get surgery in the offseason. So are there just teams that are like, no, I'm not even giving you anything for a guy that I know is playing with a half a shoulder.
Even with the 201 WRC plus since the All-Star break?
Yeah, I don't know. But I'm trying to think, why would they not make a move? So if just no one's interested in Fraley, then you go to Gavin Lux. And I mean, Gavin Lux has been really bad for a couple months. He's been really bad.
Also not in the lineup tonight, right?
Yeah. Is his value just so low? And you do have him under control next year. You're like, we're not getting anything for him. Then the other one's Will Benson. Will Benson is the player out of that whole group that actually has the best peripheral numbers, has hit the ball the hardest, hasn't had a lot to show for it, but he also next year is probably going to cost about $1 million, and you can send him down to AAA. And so he provides you your organization depth next year. So I don't know. And are they just kind of, I was trying to piece together this lineup, and it's just like, man, there's just so many guys on the bench. Are they just like, you know what? We're just going to have a good bench, and we're going to try to mix and match, and we're going to try to have more options late in the game, and we're also going to protect ourselves if Jake Fraley gets hurt, if TJ Friedl gets hurt. Friedel's been hurt a lot, has had a great bill of health this year, but that's no guarantee. Are they also saying, you know what, we like what Matt McClain's done the last 2 months, but we've kind of seen him be very Jekyll and Hyde this year. Do we want protection in case he just falls off a cliff, and we can just put Gavin Lux as our everyday second baseman? I don't know. Does any of that make sense to you? Like, could that be what they're just trying to do here?
Yeah, I guess so. It just, it does, like, how do I say this? I think that if somebody like David Bell was the manager, that would make sense, but it doesn't seem to jive with what Tito likes to do, right?
Yeah.
Like Tito only he's much of this is a my guy type thing. And I think he would much rather prefer having some pretty specific roles in which that, whether it's a straight right left platoon in right field or something like that, or even maybe at third base or whatever it is, and definitely in the batting order, so that is what I know he's not the one that's officially making the deals, but I would imagine Tito's input is coming for some of this stuff. So that's what is a little bit confuses me a little bit, because it feels like this doesn't seem like a bunch of puzzle pieces that Tito wants to have to deal with. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's fine just letting people sit on the bench and pull them up when they're needed. But it's just like he doesn't seem like the type of guy that wants to try to have to mix and match to make sure we're getting everyone playing time and stuff like that. So I don't know. That's what it was confusing with me. And you mentioned all that stuff about Benson and what makes him valuable to the Reds and what they are going to be able to do with him now into the future is also what potentially makes him valuable to somebody who would want him as a trade. All those things you laid out are good and reasons why we should keep him, but also reasons why somebody else might want him. So there's that aspect of it too, where it's pretty easy to see why somebody may not want Fraley. Even though he's on a hot streak, even though he's a good dude, he's just like he's playing through an injury that could flare up at any time. He's going to be pretty expensive next year, and we're probably going to DFA him anyway. It's like, why would we give up for that, right? So there's that aspect of it, where it's the same reasons that we want Fraley to leave and we keep Benson, the same reasons why all the teams want Benson and not Fraley. Yeah. So there's that aspect to remember about it as well. So you never know. It's just a weird crowded outfield, especially now with Marte out there.
The wild card in this, I saw this mentioned that Marte was going to get reps at first base.
Oh, really?
That would be interesting because that would kind of make the puzzle pieces, I think, fit a little bit cleaner.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It feels like the switch to first base is a lot harder.
That's what I thought
to do. Like, there were times where Rhys Hines was taking, balls at first base, right?
I'll never forget Jay Bruce trying out first base and what a disaster that was.
Well, he played first base a decent amount in New York and Cleveland, I think.
Yeah, he did, but they tried in like the middle of the season
mid-season,
in like 2015 maybe. I don't remember the year. They tried in the middle of the season to have him learn first base, and it did not go well. And they gave it up after like 5 games. Like, yeah, this is not going to work. Yeah. But as to your point, he was able to, have an off season and learn it, and it was fine. But it is really hard, I think, to learn first base in the middle of a season. I don't think first base is a hard position to play. Like, it's clearly like where you put usually your weakest defenders. But I do think it's maybe not something on the fly that you could do because you use a different glove and
you just need reps. Like those guys that are good first basemen are out there every single day taking short hop reps, taking hundreds of short hop reps, and you just need that. And if you don't have it, unfortunately, it's going to bite you when you least want it, right? It's just like we've seen this year, Steer has covered up. I think part of the reason why we've seen some. Obviously, I think Ellie has cleaned some things up, but I think Steer has been saving him on stuff. He's definitely saved Marte on a couple of occasions with bad throws over there. So having a good first baseman that's able to, maybe cover up some of the bad throws that do come his way is invaluable and kind of get swept under the rug.
All right, good super chat here from Fortson. Any thoughts on the Reds fit for Josh Bell or Willie Castro? I mean, these are two guys still out there that could maybe be potential fits. I look at Josh Bell, and he's been a solid hitter. He's been barely above average for 3 straight years. But is he an upgrade from Spencer Steer? He's a worse defender.
Yeah, I think by far. I think he's pretty terrible defensively. I'm looking up his.
He's like 0 this year, but I feel like he's been a lot worse. He was -9 last year.
Yeah.
Now maybe he's DH'd a whole lot.
Yeah, I think that's actually what it is. I think they just are like, you're DH.
Yeah.
But that Nationals infield is historically bad. So
I feel like, and again, I'm the CES Kool-Aid guy, but I'd rather just give CES a shot than Josh Bell, because I feel very confident that CES at least has a higher ceiling than Josh Bell. Now the floor is certainly lower. There's no question about that. I'm not trying to say it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about Josh Bell. Now Willie Castro, he plays multiple,
second, right? Or multiple.
I think he plays multiple positions. He's been a little bit better of a hitter. I'd be a lot more interested in him. I'll find out exactly his position.
Left field on it says left field on Savant.
He has played this year.
Switch hitter.
He's played second base, left field, right field, third base, even 5 games at shortstop and 1 inning in center field. So yeah, I mean, give me that above average hitter that can play every single one of those positions. I mean, that would be great. That'd be the kind of move you make, and then you ship off someone like Gavin Lux or Fraley or Benson, or I don't know, maybe even further than that. So yeah, I'd be all for Willie Castro. I think I don't think he's a free agent. No, he's an expiring contract. So surely they're going to trade him. So I would be all about Willie Castro for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that could be something, especially with experience at both corners. That allows you flexibility for defense. Whether it's and he's switch hitter. I'm trying to look up his splits for righty lefty. I know he's a switch hitter, so looks like lefty 131, righty 100. So hits left-handed pitching pretty well, which would be pretty good.
Well, his career splits 706 OPS against righties, 707 against lefties. Like, what a wild career splits to be that.
97 and 98 are his 2 WRC pluses. Yeah. That's crazy for his career.
Consistency, I guess.
Sure.
All right, another super chat. The Castellinis need the MLB to expand to Nashville. Their revenue would disappear faster than they say. Where are you gonna go? Yeah, I wonder. I thought about this actually the other day. I wonder if Nashville would the Reds get some sort of like bonus for a team taking part of their TV market?
I don't know. I think when a new part of the buy-in for a new team is this huge buy-in that they then disperse throughout to every team. Would
the Reds get a bigger share of that because
I don't know.
Nashville is Reds TV market,
right? And would actively be cutting into that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, like the teams in like DC, like when the Nationals came, did the Orioles get some sort of bonus or something? Well, they actually got both of theirs, so that wouldn't be a good example. Maybe
like the Rays,
maybe like Florida, yeah.
I guess the Rays and the Marlins are still pretty new, and the Rockies were. So I'm thinking of the Rockies were. I guess I don't even know. They're so in the middle of stuff that I'm not sure what market they missed. They probably Cubs market or something like that, because of how, crazy some of those lines have been drawn. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if that will. It'd
be fun to go to games in Nashville. I mean, that would be fun. That'd be a fun little weekend getaway. Go watch a Reds game, and but I don't necessarily think it'd be good for the Reds unless they got some big lump sum for it, which they might. Feels like they should. I mean, if a team comes in and literally takes part of your TV market, I feel like that team that lost their market should get a piece of that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of faith that lump sum will get dispersed to using those resources on players like we would all want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does. We haven't seen a lot of history that would happen.
Troy Taylor, I've been critical of Kirby. I think you and Trace are right. Maybe sell Lodolo. Is there a worse spot to be in than we are? My bad, Kirby. Go Reds. You know what? Go Reds, Troy. I don't know if that was an apology or what, but I don't really care anymore. I've kind of moved past move past that. I don't know. I mean, I think you should have shopped Lodolo. I really do. I don't think you had to trade him. Like, again, like that's the point I wanted to make sure I reiterate. I don't think you had to trade him, but I think
maybe they did.
Maybe they do not like the Brian Hayes news. There was not a soul that was on that until 8 seconds before the Reds tweeted it out. And I mean, they had to be going through medicals for the guy. The Reds, there's one thing they do. They are the tightest lipped about every single move that they make. So I don't know. I think they should have shopped him. The worst spot to be. Yeah, this is the worst spot to. It's a terrible spot. 3 games back. It's not a good spot. Now, I mean, the one thing that is a little bit different about this spot is that there isn't like 6 teams all jumbled up here. I mean,
it's one team.
It's the Padres, and then the Giants are really, I feel like, the only threat. But the Reds are 2 games ahead of them. The Cardinals, they are. Again, if you can't beat the Cardinals, you're not going to make the playoffs. Like that's how I view them. And then
maybe don't deserve to make the playoffs.
You can't beat the Marlins. You know, like, so it's really like, so yeah, I mean, that's a little bit different of it. Like the Reds actually this morning had the best odds of any team outside of the playoffs in the National League. And that is maybe the first time that's happened, because there was teams that were behind the Reds, like the Diamondbacks for a while before they traded everyone, actually had better odds, even though the Reds were like 2 games better than they were. But so yeah, it's not a good spot to be in. I mean, I wish that I'd be way more into the buying if the Reds were in the Brewer spot and it wasn't the first year that they had success like it was in 2023. The Reds were where the Brewers were at right now. Yeah, I mean, I'd be a lot more buying, but the Brewers haven't bought anyone. I mean, they got a backup catcher. That's it. So I don't know, man. It's tough.
Yeah, it's hard to know, and it's crazy because to compare ourselves to AJ Preller and the Padres is just like he is the biggest outlier out there. He is just so far. It feels like a GM, and in order to be an MLB GM, you have to be risk averse. It feels like at all times you're just like weighing how this could look and all this kind of stuff. And Preller just doesn't care. He's just like, yeah, just pile in more play. Like they just added 2 guys. Like, where does that fit in their roster? Where, who is that going to move things around? Who's going to stock their AAA team with all the people that they've sent out? They don't even care. It's just like, yeah, just bring them in. We'll figure it out later. And unfortunately, I don't think that is the measuring stick that we can, or anyone really should be able to measure up to, because it's just so rare. There's no one out there that's willing to do. Like, I think if you were to poll almost or every fan base, you would get, so there's 30 teams. I'd say 25 of the fan base would say that I wish my GMs would do more,
Oh yeah.
The Yankees have gotten like 4 guys, and all of them are just like, what are the Yankees? Why can't we go get more stuff? You know what I mean? So I think every team wants their GM to do more.
The Padres,
except for the Padres.
Padres are satisfied. Is there
maybe
anyone
the
else?
Mariners? The Mariners.
Yeah,
they got
if you're a Mariners
Suarez.
fan, and you're complaining, I mean, come on,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah, but I guess maybe the Phillies, that the Duran trade really stirred up that bullpen.
The Mets, they went crazy in their bullpen, but I'm sure
Helsley and the other Rogers, and now they have Cedric Mullins, so they've really addressed some of their weaknesses there.
There's no one in the NL Central that's satisfied. I guarantee you that. Yeah.
No, maybe the Pirates. They're like, oh, thank goodness, keep Brian Hayes is out of here.
Oh, come on!
Sorry, that's bad. I need to get those type of thoughts out of my head. They're going to be mad because he's going to come to Cincinnati and hit a bunch of home runs at Great American Ballpark, and they're going to be angry, but then realize there's like, we would have never been able to reach this potential while playing for the Pirates. So,
it's also a little bit different. It's a little bit easier to trade all your prospects when you have 3 players on your roster that are on $300 million contracts that you gave up nothing for.
Yeah, it's true.
The Reds the Reds have one player above 50 million, and he's not even
on the team anymore.
He's in Scranton. I mean, it's a lot easier to wheel and deal when you know, like, you know what, if I really screw this up, we have the ability to buy a player, or not. We have my owner will allow me to buy a player. So it's all relative.
That's something maybe if it gets real slow, which maybe it won't, but I'd be interested in your thoughts on a potential salary cap, what this looks like in 2026 and things like that. I don't know. I was preparing stuff for us to be live for like 4 hours, but if we're at, if there's plenty to talk about, we don't have to do that, because I just thought
like 6 super chats here. Like,
we're you guys are being extremely generous, so we appreciate that. It seems like a lot of people feel very similarly in these chats, but you go ahead.
Padres have kicked our butts today. Both teams 3 games out, and only one team was aggressive. Krall has already turned the phone off. Both teams 3 games out. Are they 3 games behind the Dodgers?
That sounds probably right. Let me look at the standings.
Yeah,
I mean 4 yesterday.
Well, I mean, on the American League side,
they're 3 out of their division.
Now, on the American League side, the teams that are on the outside, that are where the Reds are at, are the Guardians, Royals, and Rays, and 2 of those 3 teams sold. They didn't even hold. So,
and part of it too is the Guardians just lost their closer.
Yeah. Well, they're kind of a unique example.
Yeah, so they're like, we definitely are not doing anything this year, so might as well sell.
Yeah, I'm all about Robert. I would love to do it, but again, that's I don't think that's as much. I don't think that's a Krall thing at all. I think that's either it's either a Castellini thing or a White Sox thing. I don't really think that Nick Krall just has the ability to go get him and is saying, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
we kind of talked about that a little bit earlier, but yeah, I would love him. That's the kind of player I want to take a risk for. No point in renting Littell if this is all we do to help the offense. Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, that's the one that I kind of like. There's no question that he helps the Reds this year, but if you're not really going, is it worth it? But then it's like, but then if you're not going to buy Littell, then you should probably sell Hayes. And it's like you either have to jump one way down the cliff or the other way down the cliff. But the Reds have just kind of teetered one way.
Yeah. Which is what I think is the most frustrating to the fans, is like do something. I feel like it just feels like this is the worst spot to be in, where you're kind of middling it. It's like, if you just go do either sell or buy, don't just kind of sit on your hands. And I'm not saying that he's turned his phone off, but unfortunately, it seems to be where we sit with what we've been given.
What do you think for a rental starting pitcher if we aren't going to make any more moves? Did you already explain this? I just jumped on so I can rewind. Well, if you super chat, we'll explain something again, brother. Yeah. I mean, we are men of the super chatting people.
Absolutely.
What do you think? We just got a rental starting pitcher if we aren't?
I think he's talking about Littell.
Oh yeah, he is talking about Littell. That's where it's. I don't know. I feel like it's weird though. I feel like if the Reds had went out and got who's the bat everyone, if the Reds would have got out O'Hearn, I feel like everyone would be happier. But would the Reds playoff odds really jump that much? It would feel better. The vibes would be higher.
Yeah,
the vibes would be a lot higher than the percentage going up.
I'm still waiting to see what they gave up. I'm still refreshing to see, because that, as much as that shouldn't, I think it's going to change how I feel about it, based on what they gave up. But I guess when it comes to having a rental starting pitcher, I think we talked a little bit about it, because what it does is it ultimately is starting pitching, but also a bullpen move too, because you can move Martinez, who's been a very clutch or a very good relief pitcher down there, and maybe even use him in some of these higher leverage spots. So you're not just completely burning Barlow and Santillan into the ground, and maybe even moving people like Ashcraft and Mole and Suter to less leveraged spots. So I think that it's one of those where it helps both the starting pitching and the relief pitching. But another thing is, it's just like we still got 2 months of the year where, we don't know health-wise what's going to be. So it gives us flexibility too, that helps our bullpen now, but gives us flexibility to be able to fill people in case there are injuries down the stretch. So
there probably will be. I mean,
knock on wood, Nick.
But also the interesting piece that was reported last night was that Chase Burns might get moved into a bullpen hybrid type role as the season goes on to kind of save his innings and keep him, I guess, as a potential option deeper into the season. So that could be kind of, it'd be interesting if when Green comes back, if they start Burns on that. That could be, I mean, we've seen how dominant Burns can be in 4-inning spurts. So now I don't know if it'd be wise long-term for Burns just to start, hey buddy, we're going to use you every other day, like when he's never really done that. But would they maybe just say, all right, you are on Littell's day, and you are going to pitch 2 innings then, and then we're gonna try to find a day sort of in between for 2 innings.
I worry less about his development. Obviously, I don't want injury, right? That's what you wouldn't want, right? But I don't think that putting him in high leverage situations is necessarily something that is going to completely stunt his growth for the years to come. I think we've seen too many examples of people that have done that and then come back in. And if anything, being in some of these heart pumping situations may help him as he's trying to get through the 6th. They're trying to get to the 7th. You know what I mean? So I don't feel like it would necessarily stunt his growth. Maybe for this year, could we see we probably wouldn't see the level that we could if we left him as a starter the whole year. But long term, even next year, I don't think that necessarily hurts him in that way. But it is a creative. I mean, I haven't heard any innings, like what inning would be his cap either. I think that is, they've talked about how that is a possibility, but I think to their credit, they haven't, or maybe they just haven't released it at all, but it's just like they're kind of playing it by ear. It feels like for that type of thing, using the technology to see how his arm is, seeing, what his performance is and how, whether he's breaking down or not and things like that. So I think that you're right. That move might happen, but I could see the Reds being willing to take a risk on keeping him a starter if it meant that we could make a playoff push. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's me being too generous with them, but it feels that is potentially an option.
Yeah. Again, appreciate everyone. I think there's almost 900 people watching, which is just ridiculous. Thank you so much. If you can like the stream, that really does help us out. Make sure you're subscribed here to Chatterbox Sports. We do Reds content every single day. We'll be live. Me and Mike will be live again, like in a few hours after we get off, doing a post game show. So make sure you subscribe to Chatterbox Sports. We're going to revamp a little bit more Bengals content this fall. So make sure you're subscribed here, and then Chatterbox Reds everywhere you get podcasts. You can get a lot of what we do and even some additional stuff in podcast form every day. I'm just going to keep rolling through these super chats. I don't think we're buying. I think it's early 2026. Yeah, I mean, I guess Littell was buying, but that was a very soft buy. Yeah, I mean, I think they are gearing up for 2026. I guess I'll throw this to you. This is an interesting part of this. Is there any value to, I hate this question. Is there any value to just, even if you don't make in the playoffs, like still finishing with like a winning record and like as part of like the development for Ellie and McLean and Marte, and is there any
Playing in
benefit to that?
meaningful games. Playing in meaningful games, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It's one of those where while yes, if we're in the hunt down the stretch, I think that can be beneficial, but I think it pales in comparison to actually getting into playoffs and playing playoff games. You know what I mean? I think we saw an example of that in 2020, right? You know, we get there and then the offense completely falls asleep. You know what I mean? And it was a really weird season where we only got 2 games and then we're immediately out, but we didn't score a single run, you know? So yes, I think it could help, but I think it would be way more beneficial if they could actually get into the playoffs and have those full stadiums and play for games that are going to have serious stakes behind it. Because you just look at people like Ellie and his makeup and what he's done, either clutch wise or in front of some of these big, like in Dodger Stadium or Yankee Stadium, and you're just like, it's hard to think that Ellie won't just like rise to the moment in that area. But then you wonder about some of these other players, right? Your Matt McClains, your Spencer Steers, your Tyler Stevenson. It's like that, you know. It feels like we've had a lot of big spots that have not led to good things. You know, if anything, I feel like I trust Will Benson more in a high leverage spot than those guys, right? He seems to have come through for us, even though Spencer Steer did have the game winning hit yesterday. So I think that's an interesting thought. But I wouldn't say that it is. I wouldn't say that it is the. It's only barely a consolation if you don't make the playoffs. It's like, well, at least we played in some Miami. Like, I like 2023, right? You lose out by 1 game, and it's like, oh, I don't know. The fact that we got some good experience playing in tough games that we then lost, was not really a consolation for how that season ended.
Yeah.
By the way, the Padres just made another move.
Oh, Jesus.
Acquire Will Wagner from the best team in base or the second best team in baseball, Toronto Blue Jays.
That's the son of Bill Wagner, right?
Yeah.
I believe he went to my alma mater.
So, inquired a infielder, Will Wagner. Once again, where he's going to play, I don't know. Where they got roster spots for all this, who knows? But there's a tweet out there about the Laureano O'Hearn deal. Apparently 6 minor leaguers are going to be going back. Where they're coming from?
Do they even have it? They just gonna have to shut down the AA season and be like,
I think they're forfeiting just their AAA squad because they ran out of players. They're all on the Orioles now.
They're gonna have to go sign a whole bunch of. There's gonna be a whole bunch
DFA
of
people.
Yeah, they're just gonna like have a rash of players. Like, hey, we just got a job as the Padres decided to sell all their minor leaguers out. Although you know what they'll do is the team that they just traded all these prospects to. They're going to have to probably cut some guys to put them under, and those guys are going to somehow end their way back out to the Padres system.
Yeah. And now Alex Call, somebody that we've talked about, right-handed hitter, good against lefty, now going to the Dodgers from the Nationals as well.
Wow.
Also somebody that would have not felt great, but could have probably helped this team. But anyway, more super chats from our generous fans.
All right, I don't understand the philosophy of staying pat. You don't have to give up the entire farm system to get a bat. Just sell if you want to buy. Now they did. They did give up their number 9 and number 11 prospects. So they did give up prospects. I mean, this year, the Reds have actually given up for the Reds, and I know people who just are so against the idea of prospects and that whole thing. The Reds traded their number 9, their number 11 prospect. They also traded Mike Sirota before the season for Gavin Lux, who's now a top 100 prospect, looking like a terrible trade at this point. And they also traded their competitive balance pick, which is a very valuable pick. I think it was the number 41 overall pick. So this year, the Reds have traded 4 pretty valuable minor league prospect type assets this year. So in terms of where the Reds are at, I think that's if I had asked people before the season, would the Reds have traded before the Gavin Lux trade? If I would have said the Reds are going to trade their number 9, 11, and I know Sorota's probably, like, we'll call him the 10th best prospect, which is probably higher than that now, and a competitive balanced draft pick. You think the Reds would actually do that? Most people probably say, no, they're not going to trade that much. So they have done more than that. I think that what probably people are having the most difficult time understanding is that the Reds are taking, I guess, the gamble, and they felt like this is what they could do. This is what they could give up. The Reds are taking the gamble that adding Zach Littell and adding the defense of Ke'Bryan Hayes and the future of Ke'Bryan Hayes is more valuable than the bat. Time will tell. I mean, you could go out and you could add Ramon Laureano and he could completely stink up in the second half. That guy's been a volatile player, right? You could add Ryan O'Hearn and he could have a bad 2 months. Could Ke'Bryan Hayes' defense and the addition of Zach Littell outweigh the bat? It's possible. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to judge.
I want a bat. I want a bat. Like, let
yes.
me. I would have loved a bat. I did 18 shows saying which bats I would have liked. So
yes.
I'm not saying I don't want a bat. I'm just trying to explain what I think was what they decided to do here.
Yeah, no, I agree, and we never know. There's what ends up happening and what ends up coming from all of these trades with the Padres is it's still up in the air. We'll see at the end of the year. Now they're playing the game where it's like if you make enough bets, some of them have to cash, right?
Yeah,
it's just like, well, if O'Hearn and Laureano suck, it doesn't matter because we got Mason Miller and JP Sears, or it doesn't matter because we got who else? I mean, Freddie Fermin, and it's just like there's just like so many different ways that they have now made it a way to. It's like the fact that they can't all suffer, or they can't all be really drag them down.
The best hope is that Machado has a meltdown and like doesn't like all these new guys, and
and then it becomes a clubhouse. Him and Ramon Laureano are found fighting each other 3 games in. And, the locker room goes downhill.
Mr. Preller, can I interest you in Tommy Pham?
Yes.
Can you throw him into the mix?
Yeah. He used to be a Padre. He's been here. He knows the ballpark.
All right, here's a fun one. Kyle Kowski, 90% of this chat wants to badmouth ownership for not spending millions of dollars, but can't fork over $10 a month to support this local show they love. Thank you, Kyle. Yes, you can join and be a member if you would like. Thank you, Kyle, for your support. Did I hear right? Did you say the Lux trade was bad? Curious why you think so. I like Lux, but you would know more. I mean, Lux has stunk for 2 months. That's why I like Lux. I liked the trade at the time. I'm not going to go back and say that I didn't say that. Yeah, I liked the trade at the time. I thought it was a good risk. And there's still time for this to turn around. Yeah. I mean, Lux still has 2 more months this year. Lux still has next year under control.
And both of the things they gave up haven't even come up yet. It's trending towards, the odds say that those will end up being players.
That's what I should have said.
Though it's trending towards that they will be players that the Reds will regret not having, but they may not. Who knows? We've known lots of people to tear up AA and then get to the big leagues and not be able to perform. So Gavin Lux is one of them. Gavin Lux used to be the number 2 prospect in all of baseball, right? He was somebody and then came up and has been basically what he's been for the Reds. Hot at some points, gets on base, has a good professional at bat, very little power, and then prone to cold streaks. This is kind of what he's been in the majors, and he was a much higher ranked prospect than what Sorota and whoever they got with that pick is. So it's trending towards it may not be a good pick just because of how Lux has performed, but you never know. We're not going to be able to put a grade on that until we see how that plays out.
That's a good point. There's a lot of players on this Reds roster that we've written off at times that have come back, and vice versa the other way around. So there's a lot of time left for Lux. He's got to play better for that to be a good trade, though. And the thing with Lux is it's hard. It's a lot easier for me to like kind of ride through the slumps of a guy like Matt McClain because he's going to always provide defensive value. And he also hits more home runs than Gavin Lux. So there's also that too. It's a lot easier for me to ride out players even like Will Benson because, he can go hit 4 home runs in a week and kind of get really hot. Gavin Lux getting hot is a 400 on base percentage with a bunch of doubles, which is good. But if you're lows, if you're going to have that and then a bunch of lows, it doesn't, the trade-off isn't there. He's got to be more consistent. And again, there's still time for Gavin Lux, but yeah, it's been a tough trade to this point. Has it trended in the right direction? And I hope he picks it up because if Gavin Lux plays like the Gavin Lux of 2024 for the Dodgers in the second half, this Reds team's offense looks completely different. Tyler Stevens is another guy that played very, very well in the second half that hasn't really hit to the level you would hope. You get those two guys hitting well, the lineup looks vastly different. So,
yeah, completely agree.
We'll see on that. You want to talk a little bit more about Ke'Bryan Hayes? I think we got through all the super chats. I when I go to the super chats, I have to go away from the regular chat, just the way this works. So I can't follow when I'm going through supers. So if there is any other actual questions, I'll try to get to them as much as I can. What's this one? C Trent just posted. I don't know if the Reds are done making trades, but I do know they're not done trying to make trades. Okay. All right.
Hey.
All right. Let's go.
He hasn't turned off his phone. Nick Krall's still making calls.
All right. Well, that's good. I mean, I hate the idea of saying 3:00 we're done. So, all right, we'll see. I'm not trying to get people excited for something that's not there because I feel like they're done. I'm not going to lie to you, but I would certainly love a trade and to give you some instant reactions. Like they've done this like the last couple of years. Can we wait to make some of these trades till the last like 2 hours? Like, can we stop making trades like 2 days before the trade deadline so I can do a fun show and have a fun reaction? Because it'll feel completely different. They do nothing different at the trade deadline, but they make 2 trades in the last hour. It's going to feel completely different, right?
Oh, yeah. We're ready to run through a wall, going to head into the playoffs. Imagine if we were a Padres stream right now. We would be popping confetti.
Celebrating our World Series.
I know. It's, yeah.
It would be a shame. It would truly be a shame if that team just, for whatever reason had a bad 2 months. It would be a terrible, terrible shame. And I certainly have not bookmarked any tweets today. I would never do a thing like that. Ke'Bryan Hayes. I am excited to see what his defense looks like because we have never in our lives. And I don't know every single Reds third baseman from the 1940s and 50s and 60s, but Scott Rowland in 2010 was the only Reds third baseman ever in this franchise to win a Gold Glove. And I think Ke'Bryan Hayes and every number would indicate that Ke'Bryan Hayes was better than 2010 Scott Rowland. Maybe not 2026 Scott Rowland in his absolute prime.
2006.
2006, not 16, obviously. Yeah. But I'm interested to see what that looks like and how much value that that kid can really bring. And it's a total. I mean, I will say this: with Francona coming in, it is night and day the defense, and it's going to be even more drastic with the addition of Hayes. I mean, this was one of the worst defensive teams in all of baseball for a half decade. And now has, to this point in the season, been average. And now with Ke'Bryan Hayes, it clearly, I think, moves them well above average overall. So I'll be fascinated to see kind of what Hayes can do and what that kind of looks like. And I wonder if I don't know if he'll change any opinions or not. I really don't. Now, please, God, Ke'Bryan, do not have a throwing error tonight in the first game, because that's the most peak Cincinnati Reds thing to ever happen.
Oh,
please,
man.
Please don't do it tonight, because I just see it happening. And I don't know if I'll be able to do a post-game show, Ke'Bryan, if you have a throwing error.
Guido replaces him for Santiago Espinal for defense.
What's your thoughts on
I shouldn't put that in there. I think that he is a prime candidate to this theory of a change of scenery can really help you offensively. Because hitting in a lineup that I guess they had a couple months where they were potentially going for it last year. But for the most part, in Brian Hayes' Pirates career, he has not even been on a team that has been very competitive at all, or even had the outlook of that. And now you're on a team batting ninth. So we're not expecting you to carry anything. We're just saying, hey, go out and play with this super fun team. Play with this team that's got a superstar, Ellie De La Cruz, next to you. Play with this team that has a pitching staff that is going to feed you ground balls that's going to make you look awesome. Like, I could totally see, and I desperately want this. I really, really want him to be able to at least get some bump for being on this new team with a new outlook. We saw it with Andrew Vaughn, right? And obviously we're different than the Brewers. When I saw this happen to Andrew Vaughn, I was in no way surprised, because I was like, of course the Brewers did this to a struggling guy in a bad situation, right? But I think that with Francona, say what you might about the different ways that he's managed the game, he's somebody that almost all the players that play for him seem to adore. So it's like, it feels like this could be a great situation to be able to get him into something new, take that hard hit rate, maybe make a few adjustments so you're not pounding the ball into the ground as much. And we could see, because if we say he's what, 50 something, 56 WRC plus, like, what if we get that up to 80 WRC plus, batting ninth and playing platinum glove defense over third base? Like, to me, that is something that I could feel good about for this year. And then with the whole year, with the extension of, that we have him for in his contract for $8 million a year, which I guess maybe to Reds fans, because of our penny pinching ways, seems a lot. It doesn't feel like it's actually going to be that much comparatively for what he may be able to provide for us. So I'm pretty optimistic about it. I know it's pretty easy to look at his numbers and be like, what are we doing? How are we even doing this? But I feel, maybe I'm just excited about a change, when it's like, we can't even bring in Randall Grichuk or Alex Call. It's like, all right, we're trying something new. Let's do it. And so I'm cautiously optimistic with Brian Hayes. I think that he will be an immediate defensive help and has the potential to really be a good contributor at the plate.
Yeah, and there's a whole sentiment that Reds need to take a chance. Reds need to take a chance. Reds need to do something that takes a chance. I mean, this is taking a chance. I mean, this is taking a chance more than adding Randall Grichuk at the trade deadline. I mean, this is a guy that clearly has some upside. The Pirates at one point decided to sign him to a $70 million deal. So, like, clearly there's something there. He was hitting mostly 5th and 6th this season. That's where he hit the most in the Pirates lineup. He now come to Cincinnati and hitting 9th. And I know the Reds lineup is left a lot to be desired this year, but it's significantly better than the Pirates lineup. Like, they're not even close. So yeah, we'll see. And something I was looking at, Mike, last night.
Oh, I love a Nick Kirby late night cook. It's when you do your best thinking.
The Reds in 2025 have a team 95 WRC plus. In 2012, the team that won 97 games, they had a 93 WRC plus. So pitching and defense have won before in this city and provided us with our best chance. It didn't work out, but that team, you're just a hater if you didn't think that team had a great chance and it didn't work out. So
right, yeah,
we'll see. I'm interested to see. I'm excited to see what Hayes can do. I hope that I hope he just gets. I hope he has like his hottest 2 weeks of the season hitting. That would just be so fun.
Yeah, we got a revenge series. We got a revenge series coming up soon against the Pirates.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Go off, buddy. Yeah. Let's make them regret sending you to the in-state, or not in-state, in-division rival.
Someone's asking, how do we join this site, guys? It's on YouTube. You just subscribe. I think you have to do it on you have to do it on a computer, I think, right? To be a member.
I think so.
We try to put some members only content. We'll probably have a lot more in the fall.
Underneath there, where it says subscribe, it says join.
Yeah, I think you have to do it on a computer. I don't think you can do I don't think you can do it on mobile. But yeah, that's what he was talking about earlier. We weren't advertising that, but someone super chatted because they wanted to be a part of this. So yeah. All right, we got more super chats. They're just flying through. Hope Hayes doesn't ruin a rally with a home run tonight.
I hope he does.
Yeah,
I'll go out in the room.
I'll take my chances.
He can kill a rally 3 times for me tonight if he wants.
God, if he hit him hitting a home run tonight would be like the biggest, like, thank you, Jesus. Like,
I know.
It's third of the year. Ned Flanders. Ned, thanks for joining us today. Nick, if the Reds don't add a bat today, do you think it forces Krall's hand to bring up Sal Stewart sooner rather than later? I mean, that would be a way to shoot some optimism into the
interesting,
into the mix. That I'm curious what their plans are for Sal Stewart, because he's only played third base and second base. And
currently taken.
It seems crazy that you would pick up Brian Hayes and not play him every day. Unless you're just thinking, hey, he was just we liked the chance to take him. We're not going to play him every day, and we're going to try to fix him on the fly while he's on a big league roster. Just doesn't seem like the way that it was laid out, but not saying that's impossible. And then you have Matt McLain, but you also have a backup for Matt McLain and Gavin Lux, who doesn't really have an outfield position anymore. So I guess you could call him up and DH him.
Yeah. Maybe.
But I don't know.
All of that assumes no injury.
Yeah.
Obviously. You never know. I mean, part of why Gavin Lux was here is because he's Matt McLain insurance, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So
yeah, if Matt McLain had gotten hurt in April and been out for the year, you'd look at the Gavin Lux move probably completely different, because he'd be playing second base every single day, and you'd have been like, oh yeah, well, we had to have Gavin Lux, right?
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought. I don't know. It does feel like if they don't move anyone, that Hector Rodriguez really has a hard time getting on this roster.
Right.
Yeah, like, good luck, kid. I mean, you're gonna have to hit. You're gonna have a 1200 OPS to even for us to consider. Like, poor like Rhys Hines too. I mean, like, although Rhys Hines is at least a right-handed bat, so it's a little bit easier.
Left-handed right fielder.
Yeah, not
what we are already redundant on.
Not the best time to be that in this Reds organization. But C-Trent said they're still on the phones, so maybe they do trade someone in the last minute. And you know what? There's been so many pieces go off the board that maybe now Jake Fraley becomes a lot more attractive, because how many outfielders are left?
Yeah, right? The Padres. Hey, you think the Padres want another outfielder? I mean, wild. It's like, hey, we'll take Ramon Laureano that you just gave up guys for. How about you take Jake Fraley? He's a cooler dude. Machado will like him better. But they got Tatis in right field, so they definitely don't need a right fielder.
I just see Merrill Kelly to the Rangers.
Rangers, yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad he didn't go to a NL Central team so he could come pitch on the Reds mound a few times.
Reds should have traded for him just to give him the finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Now you got to pitch your home games here.
Yeah.
Enjoy that mound. What a wild thing that was.
The thing is, if you look at the context, he wasn't like, they had already asked him who was his favorite, and they're like, oh, what's your least favorite besides? And he wasn't like, oh yeah, screw this place, or I pitched so poorly there. He just was like, it's this place. And he kind of gave he did unfortunately say cheating or something like that, or in there, which I think got a bunch of people riled up. But
Cubs just made a move.
Oh, they did.
Willie Castro to the Cubs for prospects.
Hey, you're not allowed to say people that you're interested in anymore, Nick. They just go to the people that are going to hurt us.
There was someone else, Oswaldo Peraza traded to the Angels. Okay.
From the Yankees?
From the Yankees.
Okay.
All right.
That is such a weird team. That was like when I heard Taylor Ward, the first thing I thought of is like, yeah, right. There's no way the Angels are going to sell, even though they have 5 teams to jump and they're 4 out of a playoff spot. It's so weird. Anyway,
I was very proud of the Rockies though today for trading Jake Bird.
Yeah, that is true.
They actually got, I think, like they got like a 10th ranked prospect and like a 19th or something. I think it was something like that. I mean, good for the Rockies. Like, they finally actually did something good. That team is, them and the Angels have been the two, like, just absolute fumbles at the trade deadline. Like, you're in a clear 100% obvious spot and they just zag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fortson was just thinking how lucky teams are that they get to face Minnesota and Baltimore the rest of the way. Yeah. Looked up San Diego's schedule. Minnesota, Baltimore, Columbus, Reds, Rockies, Brewers.
Colorado, Reds, Colorado.
Yeah, I probably screwed that up. Yeah, there's a good website called Tankathon that will tell you the schedule. Reds have the second most difficult schedule. The Padres are at 29th. Now, the Reds could sweep the Padres, and that makes up quite a bit of ground. I mean, that's kind of can negate a lot of that schedule. So if the Reds are in that race, I think that's what, in the second week of September when they play in San Diego.
In San Diego.
I mean, yeah, I mean that could be the season. I mean, I could absolutely see that kind of being like the Reds' last chance. Like, maybe the Reds are 3 back or maybe even 4 back, and you kind of almost have to sweep them to have a chance. So that's a
how many do they have left
against?
How many do they have left against the Dodgers?
The Padres?
Yeah,
6.
Because those are ones that at least recently have not only been tough for. I mean, it's obviously a huge rival, but I don't have led to the last 2 times they played have led to a bunch of people hitting each other, potential injuries and stuff like that. I'm just like, can we have them play them and get a bunch of people suspended for some of these Rocky series so that they have a little bit more of a chance? But maybe that's too wishful thinking.
They actually play 6 times. It's kind of, they play 6 times in like a week and a half span. So they play the Dodgers and Padres play in LA August 15 through 17, and then they play in San Diego the 22nd through the 24th. So I mean, that's in 3 weeks. So
yeah,
you kind of hope the Dodgers.
Right?
You kind of hope the Dodgers are feeling some pressure then. To be honest, you kind of hope that the Dodgers don't really get hot right before then. You hope like they're leading the divisions. Well, I mean, if they're leading the divisions not that high, then the Reds probably are having a hard time catching the Padres. But nonetheless, you hope that like the Dodgers feel like they need to win those games and they kind of go all out. Because that would certainly be nice. They do play. Padres do play 3 against the Brewers, 3 against the Mets, 3 against the Red Sox, 3 against the Mariners, and then the Reds are the next team that's the most difficult there.
I mean, and this is also the elephant in the room that I think people. It's just like we can't. We've really struggled this year against people in our division, and we've had a break basically from that. But we still are going to have to, I think, at least a couple series with the Cubs and the Brewers still. And I don't know what the Reds have shown to be able to look good in series like that, So that's another thing that, I've just kind of had in the back of my head. It's just like, man, we could do all this stuff and get ourselves in the right position. But then because we can't beat Milwaukee for some weird reason, it's like that we're not going to be able to put ourselves into a spot where we're going to be able to go for a playoff spot. So I don't know. Maybe that's too negative for right now since we got a while to it. But it's just like it still feels like such an uphill battle because of all these other things, but also because of how poorly we've done against the Brewers recently. And then also this year against the Cubs, So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening, but it's one of those that feels like impending doom when it comes to having to play the Brewers.
Yeah, I would say like for the most part, most of August is probably easier than September for the Reds. And this is a pretty big stretch here coming up for them with 3 against the Braves. The first 2 games of this series that are in Cincinnati, I mean, you're facing very winnable games against starting pitchers that if the Braves were competing probably would not be in the rotation.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just,
and the Braves don't have Acuna. Acuna just went
Yeah.
onto the IL. And they've sold players, may even still sell somebody in the next 24 minutes. So
yeah, these are two. I mean, obviously Strider is going to be really tough in Bristol. But then you got 3
Chase
against
Burns
the
going to
Cubs.
be pretty tough, though.
Yeah, that's true. And then you got 4 against the Pirates. So, I mean, you got a week here where, I mean, you got a chance. You know what? Look, if you get hot for a week, it at least puts a lot more pressure on the Padres. And at least it feels like more of a daily grind. So, ultimately, we'll kind of, I guess, kind of see where we're at here. All right.
I think we got another.
Minutes.
I think we got another super chat.
Okay, we did.
You all are just being awful generous. I appreciate it.
Keep seeing everyone say Reds need a right-handed bat. We got one. Rhys Hines is back, baby. Kyle, I don't know if you saw the news. He got optioned.
Yeah.
Not to be a Debbie Downer, but he did get optioned. I don't fault the Reds at all for not giving Rhys Hines a chance right now, but I really would like that guy to get 2 months where he just got to play every day and kind of see what he could do. Because he's played really, really well at AAA. Last year, he did not play well at AAA.
Yeah.
Like, he made significant improvements this year from last. I talked with Nick Krall, their broadcaster, talked about how he's made significant improvements defensively as well. Now can play center field. That's another thing that he's kind of been able to do and do it at a decent level. So, yeah, again, I don't necessarily think right now is the time, but I hope he gets a real run. And I hope it's with the Reds. I mean, I hope that they just don't trade him in the offseason for pennies on the dollar. I really would like to see him get a run here for a couple of months. I felt like earlier in the year was that time, to be honest with you. I wish when they had more playing time in April into May when there was a whole lot of injuries. I wish they just would have played Rhys Hines every day and kind of seen what he could have done. And maybe it would have been an absolute nothing burger, but what they played was a pretty much nothing burger too.
Yeah. Yeah, it is unfortunate. One thing I noticed, though, because they sent him down, but when Friedel comes back, what's going to be the corresponding move? Is it going to be Connor Joe option? Is that what it's going to be?
I think so.
To me, that would make the most sense. But I guess you could send Benson down. I wouldn't love that happening because of Joe's flexibility at first base. But weirdly enough, Espinal's weird flexibility to first base may save Will Benson a spot and make it so that Joe is expendable, which is weird. So I don't know. To me, he's really struggled in this role that he's been given. I think some people just like in last year for the Pirates, he basically played every day, I think, and hit lefties better, but it's hard to be the platoon bat that comes up and gets 1 or 2 at bats a game. And that seems to be something he's really struggling at. Last time I looked, he was at 27 WRC plus against left-handed pitching. So I know it's small sample size, but it's just tough. It's not the same as playing every day and then you face lefties and you hit well than to just sit on the bench and have to come up in a big spot against a lefty. So it's different. Not everyone can do it.
Yeah. Apparently Mark Sheldon put out an article that the Reds are done. So we'll ride it out till the deadline here. We'll see, just maybe more so as much as anything, to see if there's anything other interesting that happens. We've already been on here. We might as well ride it out.
Right.
But just to report, that is what was said. I think we got another super chat in here. I can't wait to see Hayes catch a grounder, and throw the ball to first. Woohoo! Yeah. Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah, I hope not.
Any thoughts from you on the series here with the Braves? Anything that kind of stands out to you, Mike?
Yeah, it will be interesting to not have Acuna is obviously good for the Reds. This dude, even when he's not been hurt, is just electric. Hits the ball really hard. I don't know if you saw that throw he had from right field. It was crazy and insane. So it's just like they're objectively a worse team when he's not on it. But I think it's going to be important that that we come out with. I know, and I guess it's pretty cheesy to say. It was like it's important that we win the series, but coming out of this, you're talking about the schedule, especially coming up in September. Is like we got to make hay with some of these teams that are going to be easier to do. It's like we saw why it's hard, even when you play well, to take series from really good teams this past week, right? With the Dodgers. It's like those are 3 potentially winnable games, and we only took 1 because that team's really good. And so it's like when that's the case, we need to play with that same intensity to beat the teams that are not as good. So I think it's important coming out of here to say, okay, this is our team. And to be honest, I'm going to be happy when the trade deadline is over. It's just like now all I have to do is root for my team. You don't have to worry about hypothetical trades. I don't have to worry about payroll, this and all that kind of stuff. I just can go in and say, all right, let's just turn it on and cheer. So, but yeah, I obviously think it's very important. We got we Abbott and Burns, and who's the guy in the middle? Singer. Yeah. So hopefully, we can carry some of this momentum into that. I know that's, I have the lineup. We can, after the trade deadline, I have the lineup that we could pop up on here as well. And we can discuss that if you want to, but
go ahead and run it up now.
Okay. Let me see. Hold on. I got to download it first.
Oh, okay. All right.
I made it in like our typical graphic of.
Oh, okay.
If you want, we can just read through it if you want.
Yeah, let's just read through it.
All right. So leading off and playing second base, Matt McClain. Batting second and playing right field, Noelvi Marte. And then third, shortstop, Ellie De La Cruz. Fourth, DH, Austin Hayes. Batting fifth, first baseman, Spencer Steer. Sixth, left fielder, Jake Fraley. Tyler Stevenson, seventh. Will Benson, eighth, playing center field, obviously with Friedel still on paternity leave. And then Ke'Bryan Hayes batting ninth and playing third base. So a little bit of a mix up here, or mix it up a little bit with Marte and McClain. So we'll see. I don't know. What are your initial thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, Marte's, I assume just for today with Friedel out, they had been going Lux, McClain, but Lux is not in the lineup today. I guess he's either the odd man out or just the guy off today, or, hey, maybe
they were shopping him.
Maybe they're shopping him. Maybe he's sore. I mean, there's like 8 different reasons why he could not be in the lineup today. Yeah, I bet that's probably a nice little boost for Noelvi to see his name up high in the lineup. Certainly well deserving. Jake Fraley does have a home run and 3 at-bats against Carrasco. So that's good. Ke'Bryan Hayes actually is the Red that's seen him the most. He's 2 for 9 with the double and a walk. So that's kind of wild. I would not have thought
He's
Ke'Bryan
with Cleveland
Hayes
for a while, and they just got him from the Yankees, but I'm curious where most of that happened.
The only other player that's seen him a lot is Connor Joe, who's not in the lineup. He's 3 for 8. And then really
apparently the Pirates have seen him a few times.
Yeah, Hayes is 1 for 2, and Trevino's not in the lineup as 1 for 1. So yeah, I mean, Jake Fraley's had some success, so that's good to see. And the Pirates just made a trade. They just traded Bailey Falter to the Royals. So that, you know what? That is very nice because the Reds won't have to see a lefty when they play the Pirates. And the Reds play a 4-game series. So, I mean, there's a very good chance you would have seen him as you see just everyone except for one guy in the rotation.
And they traded Heaney already, didn't they? Have they traded Heaney yet?
I don't know if they've traded Heaney, to be honest.
Because we're probably seeing Skeens in there, which is already going to be a tough matchup.
Could we somehow find a break to not see Skeens in the 4-game series? I mean, that would
wow,
be
to go a whole year without facing
Heaney has
Paul
not gotten traded. So
okay. Maybe I just saw a source that people were interested in him.
Are you surprised that the Pirates didn't kind of go more? Wait, is this real?
I'm seeing Andujar. I don't know if I have not.
This is a 15,000 follower guy.
I'm waiting for Jeff.
Uh-oh.
All right. Pause. Hold on.
I mean, this would be a pretty decent pickup, right?
Sure. Man, if we just need to combine Andujar and Ke'Bryan Hayes into one person because Andujar hits well and is putrid defensively.
Well, he could DH if Hayes can play in the field for. Is this real? I mean, this.
I'm not seeing I don't follow enough people. This Ari Alexander, is that the one that you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, he's got 15,000 followers. I mean, that's.
I don't know why he'd be the one that has the story, but.
No, I think he's an A's guy. I think he's a local news reporter for the A's, so he might as well wins too. Duddy in the chat said wins.
Austin wins. Comes back. Oh man. That's interesting. I wonder who would go. Yeah, I wonder because then he he just platoons with Lux in the DH spot.
Yeah.
In the DH spot, right? He basically just doesn't even play in the field. Would just be like, hey, you're here to hit left-handed pitching, and that is it.
He's got a great arm, though.
Where has he played this year? Let me look.
Left field.
Okay, because I know when he played for the Yankees, that's where I remember him from. He played third base, I think, and poorly.
I'm trying to find.
He's played this year 32 games at third, 27 games in left, 3 games in right, 2 at DH, and 1 at first.
Okay.
1 year, $3 million for this year. So that's prorated to about $1 million. There's a little bit more than a third left in the season. Let's see here. Let's look at his splits. I know people have already been mentioning it, but
they're
right now batting .422 against left-handed pitching.
It's a small sample.
I know. I know.
Certainly looks good, though.
186 WRC plus. Let's look at the career. Let's look at career numbers.
Career's good. I mean, careers has this guy in 446 at bats has a 794 OPS against lefties, 291 batting average too. So I don't know. I mean, I would certainly take him, right? I mean, sure. I don't think he moves the needle a ton. I mean, I don't think, oh man, yeah, suck it, San Diego. We got Miguel Andujar, but definitely makes the team better. So if you're getting him for not much and just mostly money, yeah. Nestor Cortez to the Padres from the Brewers.
Isn't he having Tommy John?
I thought he was done.
What? That's so
it's a Robert Murray. Just did it. All right, Reds acquire Miguel Andujar. All
right.
We got to trade.
Okay. I wonder who it's for.
Yeah, that's what we're waiting for. Hopefully it's not like last night where I had to wait like 3 hours for the return. All right, yeah, I mean, look, I'll take him. There's no question about it. He has a pretty small sample. But that was 2024.
See, 2025
doesn't swing him at.
Oh, good.
Good whiff rate. Doesn't strike out a lot. Doesn't walk a lot though. Yeah, I mean, I think
not good range, but very strong arm.
Yeah, it's a very elite arm the last couple years.
96 percentile in arm strength.
Yeah. So, I mean, at least, in terms of playing Gavin Lux out in left field, at least maybe the guy's not the best left field defender, but he can at least make up for it probably with some of his arm.
Yeah, can probably let it drop, but then at least hit Ellie on the fly on a ball in the corner.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he's hitting incredible against lefties this year, 422 average, OPS over 1,000. And I mean, he's hit lefties well for 3 straight years. I mean,
yeah.
2023 was 871 OPS. 2024 was 995 OPS. 2025 was an OPS over 1,000. Not a ton of power, but I mean, he's again, we're talking Connor Joe. This is definitely a pretty big upgrade there. Hit 2 home runs yesterday, I guess. Yeah.
That's something. That's something.
I assumed we were done. So yeah. Connor Joe has options, so the Reds can send him down to AAA. They don't even have to cut him. Now, I don't know if they need to make a 40-man move.
Well, we'll see who's in the trade.
Yeah, I mean,
so if Gavin Lux is in the trade, or if Resigns is in the trade, or something like that, then no 40-man move is needed. You just slot him in and then option Joe.
Kenya Huggins was traded. That's what someone said in the chat. He was just literally added as the Reds' 30th prospect today after the Reds traded other guys.
Serwinowski? So we got for the 30th best guy in our.
He was the 32 ranked prospect
a
couple days ago. That's what somebody said in the chat. I'm not seeing that confirmed anywhere.
Okay.
So.
I was gonna say I've never heard of that dude. I thought you accidentally read something of somebody like doing a wordplay on you. I was like, that's not a real person.
Yeah. I haven't seen that official. But yeah, I mean, if you're giving up your 32nd ranked prospect a couple of days ago for a guy that clearly Kenya Huggins is a pitcher.
Okay.
I think he's got a really good fastball. I think he's been hurt a lot. I think he's down in Daytona.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's one of the kind of more, lottery tickets. Yeah, 2024 he pitched in a whole 8 innings. 2023 pitched in 34 innings. This year, 63 innings with a 3.69 ERA. But this has kind of been the first time that he stayed healthy. I think he has a really good fastball. I think I remember seeing that before. Yeah. But like I said, just got on the top 30 prospect list. So if that's who that is, I mean, that's certainly a perfectly fine prospect to give up for a guy that can help you.
Yeah. Few other things that have come through. It looks like the Red Sox are getting Dustin May from the Dodgers.
Wow. Okay.
Weird that they would sell. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what that return is. It's Marlins are looking as to not trade Sandy Alcantara. So they probably were not. I guess all of our Cubs watchers would be disappointed in that. Padres acquire Nestor Cortez. See if there's any. What else is there to give for the Padres? Who knows? And then right now, just across the wire, Jose Caballero is going to the Yankees from the Rays.
Okay.
Interesting. I think they're playing right now. Like they're in a delay right now in the Yankees and Rays. I think so.
The Cubs just acquired Taylor Rogers
from the Pirates.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
So you're saying, oh no, we should be saying, oh yes. Come on now.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go.
We know firsthand what that might mean.
Yeah. All right. Well, Miguel Andujar.
Got about 5 minutes left to see what slides in under the wire here.
Yeah, I'm fascinated to see did the Cubs actually give anything up for him. And the Cubs might not have given up anything for him. The Cubs just might have said we'll take on a third of his salary, because he was basically a salary dump to the Pirates. I mean, that was basically what that was. Yeah, I mean, Biden's here saying Huggins is 22 ranked prospect. I mean, he might be on like Baseball America, but he was literally just added as the number 30 prospect on Pipeline today. And like I mentioned, he has not stayed healthy at all throughout his career. He pitched in 4 games in 2024, and he's down at Daytona. So,
well, he's 22 on Pipeline.
Is he 22 on Pipe?
Yeah, so they must have adjusted it.
Did they just readjust their whole list that much today?
Yeah, must have.
Okay, I'm sorry. There was a tweet earlier today that he was added to the top 30. He was not on the top 30, so they must have just completely revamped their entire list today.
55 scouting fastball, 50 changeup or slider.
Okay,
is what he's so far this year in. He's in DBT. That's Daytona Beach. 2-2, 3.69 ERA. 57 strikeouts. 26 walks.
Played alongside Cam Collier, in high school. Yeah. So, talented arm, but I mean, he was not a guy that really was anyone that I was expecting anything out of anytime soon.
It's a lottery ticket. Yeah. He's a lottery ticket.
He was like the much further down lottery ticket for like Adam Serwinowski. So I mean, hey, look, Reds did add 3 players. I mean, certainly when you look at what the Padres did, it's not
over yet, Nick. It's not over yet.
It's not. I mean, I guess, yeah. And I guess now that they made a trade, we almost have to wait. I was just going to cut this off at 6, but now that, I mean,
we need to know who officially got sent back. And I want to know who.
MLB officially reported that Andujar was traded to the Reds. So,
I also need to know who the Pirates got back for Rogers.
Yeah.
Adrian Hauser to the Rays.
Cardinals traded Phil Maton. Is it Maton?
Maton
to the Rangers.
Right. So they're really punting.
White Sox
on this
officially not trading Luis Robert. Wild.
Yeah.
Marlins not trading Sandy Alcantara.
Yeah.
I kind of like that for them. Like, I kind of feel like just ride that out a little bit longer, That's one of those things I feel like if you're trading him, it's just to try to get out of money. So if I was the Marlins, I mean, I think that's a smart move.
And they would be trading super low on him. Like, he's been real bad this year.
Yeah.
Even though he has a Cy Young. So maybe get him to bounce back and trade him in the offseason. I'm not sure. Is he a free agent at the end of this year? I'm not sure.
No, they still have at least one more year. Yeah.
Okay.
He's not a rental. So, I mean, so I assume Will Benson gets sent down. Is that
interesting?
Or it's either him or Espinal. I think they're going to want to keep a right-handed bat.
Yeah. All this expecting that Joe goes down when Friedel comes back.
Yeah. Joe is, I think, clearly the odd man out for Friedel. And then, I mean, it's just, do you keep Benson or Espinal? I would rather keep Benson, even if you're not going to play him every day. Just because you keep Brian Hayes now, so you don't need to take someone out of third base. You have other guys with position flexibility. But my guess is they probably will send Will Benson down. Espinal does. Do we have a special guest joining us?
What up, y'all?
You had to come talk Miguel Andujar.
I was so pumped I just couldn't stay away any longer. I've been itching.
Did you bring your mic with you to Chicago?
I did, of course. You never know when news is going to break, Nick. I got to be ready to go. Got to be ready to hop on. Trey Hendrickson could sign while I'm here in Chicago, and if that happens, me and Mike got to get live.
Good point. Good point. So.
I got to be ready.
Now, are you sure you have your mic on? Are you sure
No.
you have your mic selected? Because it sounds like you might not have your mic selected.
Okay,
And
let's
I don't
change
want,
it then.
well, I just don't want you to be holding a mic for nothing. I mean, I as someone who's held a mic, I understand. I did a 30-minute interview with someone holding a mic the whole time that I didn't take a stand. And that was one of the worst decisions I've ever made in my entire life. So the deadline is officially
I'm just
over.
doing it for fun. Is it better now?
Yes, much better.
I mean,
There we
that's
go.
big league
There we go.
producing on the fly. I mean, I think we need to call it
on
what
the
it
fly.
is. So
it was stuck on my headphones. So I switched that over now. We got it picked up. My mic's selected. Look, I'm in Chicago for work. I'm having a good time here at the National Sports Collectibles Convention. But
You're at the National.
You guys have been, but you guys have been grinding away for the last 2 hours talking about the Cincinnati Reds trade deadline and whether or not they're going to make another move. And I figured, even if I haven't been paying super close attention, and even if I regurgitate the exact same stuff you guys have been saying, at least let you rest your breath for a little bit and come in and bring in some fresh faces. So I know I speak on behalf of the entire chat, and last I checked, there was literally over 1,000 people currently watching on YouTube. So I appreciate the two of you and your willingness to be here to cover the Reds through this entire trade deadline. And obviously not as much action as all of us would have liked, but still some pieces I think that we can get excited about. And even if they're not the major upgrades that I think we were looking for when we talk about some of the major reliever arms that we were looking at and some of the outfielders that I know we had targeted, ultimately when it comes down to it, I do think that this team got better over the last 72 hours. Now, the problem is, and I'm sure you guys have been talking about this, I apologize, I've been at the National and then had a work call, and so I haven't really been listening. But the problem is that you're 3 games behind a team who just went all in. And the San Diego Padres are absolutely making the moves that I think every single person in this chat wishes the Reds would have made over the last couple of days. And so that's the frustrating part for sure. I think if we were to look at this trade deadline in a vacuum, guys, and obviously want to talk to you about this, ultimately, I think if you were to look at it in a vacuum, I think the Reds did probably exactly what we thought the Reds were going to do, even if you would have asked us a week or two ago, and that is they're going to make a couple moves. Are they going to be needle movers? Maybe not. Are they going to be moves that they can say, well, we did something to get better and make our team better? They did. But at the end of the day, did they make any of those big moves that you really thought or hoped they would make? I don't know. Miguel Andujar is better than Connor Joe. Ke'Bryan Hayes is better defensively than anything we have currently in the defense. And Littell is going to give the Reds flexibility and depth at a position that they were one injury away from being desperate for. And so now they're in a position where they have the depth they need at starting pitcher. They have a defensive third baseman that they can absolutely believe in and trust on a nightly basis that they haven't had. And they have a right-handed platoon hitter that they think can be a solid right-handed bat that they haven't had, whether that's off the bench in late game situations or starting games in a platoon role, but they just haven't had the reliability that they've needed. And so did they get better? Yes. In a vacuum, I think the Reds had a very solid Reds deadline. But when we look at the competition and when we look back in late September and early October, we're going to look at this as an opportunity that the Reds could have gotten so much better. And we saw players that many people wanted the Reds to target that they didn't target or weren't able to close the deal on. And now at the end of the day, here we are. And will it get the Reds to the playoffs? I don't know. I think they're better today than they were, but are they in a position where they're going to make the playoffs now? Maybe if the Padres hadn't made the moves they made, but it's really tough to say that they are good enough to right now to compete with that team.
Well, and that's why you play the games too, right? On paper.
Well, sure, but we could have played the teams with the team you had.
Yeah.
If you want to go that route, right? I mean, shoot, this team realistically had been playing good baseball, but that doesn't mean they're a playoff team. I mean, yeah, we're playing the games and they're luckily having some success where they're winning some ball games that maybe they shouldn't have, maybe they should have, maybe they're losing some games they shouldn't have. They're playing the ball games. They're winning more than they're losing, but are they winning enough? I don't know.
Right. And I guess I meant that for the Padres. I think there's a lot of people.
Well, how many
crowning
times
the
have we seen
Padres.
teams make moves and then the chemistry is off or the players don't pan out the way they wanted to or whatever? Yeah, 100% when we come back to October, maybe it doesn't work out for the Padres. But I think if it does, a lot of people are going to point at the Reds not doing enough more than they're going to say the Padres did enough, which both is going to be true. The Reds didn't do enough and the Padres did more than enough.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. Have we gotten any word on what is it, or is it been confirmed it's Huggins for Andujar?
Yeah.
Is it Huggins or Higgins? Who's Huggins?
Higgins.
Kenya Huggins. No, you're right. Kenya Huggins, right-handed pitcher. At the Athletics PR literally 5 seconds ago. Athletics have traded infielder outfielder Miguel Andujar to the Cincinnati Reds for right-handed pitcher Kenya Huggins. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't know who that is.
Yeah. High A, has a pretty good fastball, injured a decent amount. He's the 22 ranked prospect for Pipeline. So
the Reds are also officially done. So that is it for moves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Corresponding move, Wade Miley moved to the 60-day IL.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting, isn't it?
Well, we thought, maybe there would be a DFA that we would care about to add him in there.
Well, so they're still going to have to make another move to get him onto the main roster, right?
Yeah,
on the 25 man, right? So whether that the question is going to be, is that going to be Connor Joe? Is that going to be...
I think Joe is going down for when Friedel comes back from paternity leave.
Okay, and then what?
yeah, exactly. And then what is it?
Because Reese Hines went down, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So Reese Hines is already
Benson
down.
And Fraley.
And then the only other thing that I can think of is potentially injury. You never know what's going to happen. Yeah. Well, Austin Hayes is playing DH again. He was in left field and scratched out of it to play DH. He's obviously well enough to hit, but you never know who's nursing what. I would imagine, they have options there to be able to move people around. I think Fraley is the one who's playing left field now. So you never know. I would imagine he probably is not joining us today. Probably.
Yeah, he's not going to join the team today.
Probably join the team in Bristol.
Yeah, maybe just go straight to Tennessee.
Game. Yeah.
They play 12:40 tomorrow. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, Connor Joe when TJ Friedel comes back, and then, I guess it's going to have to be someone like Will Benson, right? I mean, unless you send Marte back to AAA to get consistent at bats, if you don't think he's going to be your everyday right fielder. But that's the other question in all of this is, how does Andujar get at bats, right? You've got your third baseman in Ke'Bryan Hayes. Theoretically, you have your outfield in Hayes and Marte. Does Andujar become a DH in that situation? Does Hayes DH and Andujar plays outfield? What are you guys
I would
thinking
imagine
about all that?
Probably he's taking that at bat with the bases loaded in the fifth inning I think it was the 2 days ago, right? He's going to be your first bat off the bench against a left-handed reliever. I would imagine that will be a huge part of his role. And then against left-handed pitching, I would think he seems like, I think we said he's played 20-something games at third base. He's played 32 games at third, 27 in left, 3 in right. So he is somebody that could play DH third he's not going to play third, DH or potentially left field against left-handed pitching as well. So maybe somebody that swaps with Lux, who is, against righties, he's the DH, and against lefties, we have Andujar as the DH. And then they are off the bench as a sub, and then can play in the outfield if needed. But he's got a strong arm, but his defensive metrics don't grade out very well. So it's one of those where you would imagine he probably gets replaced for defense at some point. Well, maybe, who knows? But I would imagine that's probably the role that he sits in. Somebody who is the hammer against lefties off the bench.
Where's Lux in the lineup tonight?
He's not in the lineup.
I know. Do you think there's anything to that?
Well, I mean, maybe we thought maybe that it was because he might have been moved, and maybe they were looking to move him.
Right. Maybe
but
he was in conversations.
Yeah, in conversations, and they didn't want to have to scratch this or whatever. That's Nick basically came out and said it makes me think that they're not trading either Fraley or Benson, and he was right. So because they announced that lineup at like 2:30 or something like that. So maybe it's just, hey, we're giving him a day. Maybe it's we want Fraley and Benson in the lineup. I don't know. One of those, and I know Benson.
Well,
struggled.
but you're still putting Austin Hayes as your DH.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I mean, if they wanted Lux in the lineup, they could get him. And whether we like the philosophy or not, Gavin Lux fits the Reds' offensive philosophy, and so for him not to be in the lineup is interesting to me. I think there must have been conversations, I would think, but I don't know. Where are you guys at on Super Chats? I see you guys have had a lot of people chime in.
Yeah, we got a couple, and then we're gonna wrap this up because I'd like to spend a few minutes here with my family before I watch a baseball game and do another show. No offense. So let's run through these. Jacob Doyle, Andujar equals Willie Castro for our needs, but cheaper. Yeah, I mean that's a fair point. I don't know what Willie Castro exactly cost. Did you see that, Mike?
He went to the Cubs.
Yeah.
So let me see if I can look that up while you keep going. But
Ned Flanders, Craig, we're all doing shots for every F4 point added by the Reds at the deadline, but we're still sober.
Pretty good.
Vicky wanted to make sure we knew Hines was sent down for Hayes.
So it looks like Willie Castro, Minnesota will receive multiple prospects in return, but they haven't announced who they are yet.
Interesting.
We
the
surely
Cubs got
didn't
Castro, Mike Soroka, Andrew Kittredge, and Taylor Rogers, right?
Yeah. Oh man, what's that return? Sorry, I'm very, very interested in what that one is.
I think the Reds. The Reds have the most in the division.
I mean, the Pirates, they sent out a lot of people.
Did the Reds add the most in the division?
Well, no. I mean, I just read 4 acquisitions that the Cubs got. The Brewers added
a backup catcher.
And that was it, right? I didn't see anything else.
Sent out Nestor Cortez.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The fact that, I don't know, I thought he was done for the year. The fact that the Padres acquired him too is just like odd.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Twins traded away Carlos Correa, Johan Duran, Harrison Bader, Griffin Jacks, Ty France, Willie Castro, Louis Varland, Brock Stewart, and Danny Kalum.
Yeah.
That's a heck of a deadline.
That's a heck of a
They were
deadline.
busy. They were busy.
Yep. But to Mike's point, I haven't seen return on Willie Castro. But I promise you it was more than a high A arm. I bet it was more than just one. So there you go.
I think I agree with you, Jacob.
According to Jesse Rogers, Cubs sending AA pitchers Ryan Gallagher and Sam Armstrong. So 2 AA pitchers instead of our 1 high A pitcher. So yes, cheaper. Well, look, I don't want to speak for you guys. I guess just to try and wrap this up, just again, my thoughts here is just I think this was a very Reds deadline. And I think it's certainly disappointing if we were to look at it as a whole and how the Reds now stack up in the National League and with their competition. The Cardinals didn't really do anything, so I think that's a positive for the Reds as they're trying to compete. Yeah, they just sold, right? Which
a lot
from that perspective.
Closer,
I think the Reds have to be happy with that because that's a team that they were chasing. Obviously the Pirates sold. The Brewers didn't really do a whole lot, but the Cubs added, and so I think again, was it enough? I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. In the moment, it feels underwhelming, but I'm having a hard time balancing being underwhelmed by the Reds and being completely blown away by what the Padres did. And so I think that's the biggest challenge. And then the other piece of it is just recognizing that they added a pitcher but didn't add a left-handed specialist, especially over the last couple of weeks, seeing their inability to get some big outs and big moments against left-handed bats. Freddie Freeman tore him apart in some moments where they could have brought in left-handed relievers. We saw it over the last couple of weeks. So, definitely some needs that we thought they had that they didn't necessarily address, but also address some of the needs that they did have. And ultimately, whether we like it or not, they're building their team. And Ke'Bryan Hayes being under control for 5 years as one of, if not the best defensive player in the league, best defensive infielder in the league. I think they got better. It was a Reds deadline.
Yeah. And the great thing now is we get to just sit back and cheer on the Reds. We get to just say, all right, let's go out and win games. Let's go out and stack series wins. That's what I think I'm most excited about. It's just like, we don't have to worry about, oh, do we get this person? Do we get this person? We just get to worry about our guys and worry about the team that we have to play in front of us. So that to me is exciting because, despite what they were going to do, I was going to sit down on the couch tonight and root my butt off for this team. And I'm just excited to be able to do that now with the team that still has your Elly De La Cruzes. You still has your Chase Burns, some really exciting players that we get to go out and watch. So that's, while yes, I think we did get a little bit better, but man, I think we can now, and Nick is happy about this too. I'm sure he doesn't have to field any more potential trade questions. It's just like, let's just go out and see if our team can get us across the finish line here and get to the playoffs. That would be such a cool thing for this city. We were talking about, Reds make the playoffs, Bengals start fast, go 5-0. Man, Cincinnati would be bumping. Everyone would be super excited about all of that. And I would love to be able to for that, to at least get in and to be able to have playoff games for this young core with the experience. So I'm overall still optimistic. I'm ready to go and attack the rest of this season. Hopefully the Reds are too.
Yeah, it was going to be a, somewhat of a long shot. The Reds making the playoffs with or without the deadline, with or without the Padres move. So yeah, look, it's over. Let's move on. Let's root for this team that still has a very, very bright future. Still has one of the best talented young players in baseball, and Elly De La Cruz has some incredible starting pitching that they can really build around. And I'm glad as hell it's over. I'm excited to watch the Reds take on the Braves tonight. Me and Mike will be on in the 9th inning to hopefully wrap up a Reds win and ride out the rest of the season. So thanks everyone. I mean, I couldn't believe that there was like almost 900 people watching for most of the afternoon. Which is just ridiculous. So thank you for watching. Thank you everyone for super chatting. Made filling air for 2 hours very easy. So thank you to you for that. Like the stream on the way out. Be sure to subscribe to Chatterbox Sports on YouTube for all our content, and then Chatterbox Reds everywhere you get podcasts. So Mike, appreciate you. Craig, appreciate you jumping on. We will see you here in a couple hours. Go Reds.
Go Reds.